Hello, everyone. I am honored to introduce to you today a new topic on live discussions and my guest, Jackie Devenue. She is a 75 years old member of the U.S. Green Party since the year 2000. She holds several titles: Chair of the Cumberland County Greens, Senior Advisor to the Maine Green Party, Maine Delegate to the National Green Party Committee, and a member of the Global Greens Democracy Network. She lives in Portland, Maine, where she is a major activist there. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you, Wissam. Yes,
So we'll start a little bit about you. I wanted to just tell us a little bit about your background. How did you begin in this path of activism, and a little bit of the beginnings of the Green Party, since you have a lot of that history too that we would love to record today.
okay. Thank you. Uh, as Wissam has already told you about the offices that I hold and all, I live here in Portland, Maine, which is the land of the Wabanaki and the First Dawn. I joined the Green Party in 2000. I was living in Florida at the time. Ralph Nader was running. It was the first time I heard of the Green Party. I read their platform and I was like floored. Um, it was a no-brainer that this is where I belonged. Um, and I moved back to Maine in 2001, and that's when I joined the Green Party here in Maine. Uh, the founding father of the Maine Greens is John Rensenbrink, and he was a dear friend up till he passed in 2002. So I would like to start by reading an opening of his 2021 Who Founded the Green Party of the United States. John was a professor of political science in Bowdoin College, co-founder of the Green Party of Maine, co-founder of the Associates of State Green Parties, and co-founder of the Green Party of the United States. The Green Party of Maine were the first Greens in this country, founded in January of 1984 by John Rensenbrink and Alan Philbrook. 2 months later, the book Green Politics, written by Charlene Spurnick, was published in New York. The momentum created by that book led to a founding conference in August of that year in St. Paul, Minnesota, to form a Green Party. With each of the key founders building on the previous work of the others, the founding activity extended from 1984 to 2001. That was the year that the GPUS received formal legal standing from the Federal Elections Committee as a bona fide national political party. Howie Hawkins resisted the course and development of the Green Party of the United States from 1984 on. He and his associates expounded the anarchist belief that there should be nothing above local level. Throughout the 1980s, as he publicly admitted at a conference in 2002, he acted as an agent blocateur to block all efforts within the National Green political organization called the Green Committee of Correspondence, GCOC, to transition to a political party. Instead, he argued for a non-party, dues-paying mass movement within the GCOC. He formed the he formed the oppositional Left Green Network, LGN, in 1987 to, in his words, left the Greens. With Howie at the driving force of the LGN, it finally succeeded in taking over the GCOC at an annual meeting in 1991 in Elkins, West Virginia. a conference that included, by the way, a workshop naming all the Green women leaders who had been driven out of the GCOC over the years by the LGN. In the wake of that conference, large numbers of GCOC members nationwide moved quickly into working in building Green Party state parties, shifting their focus away from the LGN dominated GCOC, which soon changed its name to the Green Party United States of America, which is GPUSA, as opposed to the GPUS, which we are. In the founding months, John Rensenbrink and others formed the Green Politics Network, GPN, for the major purpose of providing a home for the emergent state parties. GPUSA opposed and tried to prevent a state-based national Green Party, but it could not be stopped. In 1996, the state parties united to form the Associates of State Green Parties, ASGP. That same year, Howie and his associates filed an application with the Federal Election Committee claiming that the GPUSA was the official Green Party. It was rejected. By 2000, GPUSA had dwindled to small numbers of members who voted to reject a proposal merge with the ASGP, even though the ASGP had voted to take them in. No merger took place, and no GPUSA materials were consulted when GPUS wrote its foundational 2000 platform, which was part of its successful application to the FEC. After GPUSA faded away, Howie participated as an individual in the Nader campaign in 2000 and then joined the Green Party of New York State, running for different offices many times, including governor and president of the United States. After his presidential run in 2020, he emphasized his commitment to build a new Green Socialist Party. He wrote, "What we're trying to do is build a major working class party on the left." It should also be noted that Howie's run for president in 2020 split the GPUS, and many of the lifelong GPUS Greens for the first time did not vote Green and voted for an indigenous candidate running as an independent. I share all of this as it is important that the truths about this party be told, and especially around the history of this party, and honor John Rensenbrink, who was a dear friend and leader of the Maine Greens and passed in 2022.
Thanks, Jackie. So it seems that the birth of the party came out of the womb of a struggle of many activists and groups to find the appropriate sweet spot for their political work in the United States. Do you feel that we have reached to that point since the year 2020?
We are an organic organization. We were founded in Europe as an environmental movement, and the only reason we became political was so that we could vote on things that affected the environment. Here in the United States, people consider that the Green Party is just tree-hugging people around the environment, and if anybody was to have been around Jill Stein's campaign, they would understand that it is so much more than that. Our Green Party motto is for the people, peace, and planet. We're the only party that has an actual peace platform. And we are also the only party in the last election that stood up against what was going on in Gaza. We we do the work that we do, and one of the reasons why, as I would tell John Rensenbrink many times, that I have spent over 20 years banging my head against the wall to keep this party moving forward, is because of that. We're all volunteers, and we have lasted over 30 years while all these other uh, independent parties have come and gone. And the reason being is because we do it for the people, peace, and planet. And all across the United States are amazing people who give their time and effort to try to. It is so hard to build the Green Party. We don't take corporate money, and that is a huge thing when you're going up against the Democrats in any kind of situation. Um, I can go into details about the Democrats and the things that they do, but the most important thing, I think, is that what our party does and how we have prevailed because of all the wonderful people who care about the people, peace, and planet and want to do that work, because there's nothing else. We are the front line, and they try everything to keep us from being heard and seen. So I think that what happened in the last election was very important, because for the first time, people learned about the Green Party. You know, one of the biggest things that has always made me quite upset is the fact that in the last election, Jill Stein was on enough ballots, and the ballots are so hard to get onto. They have all sorts of rules that the Democrats and Republicans set up. We were on enough ballots to have gotten elected and have had and would have had enough electoral college numbers in those states. Yet we were not allowed to be seen on TV for free like all the Republicans and Democrats, and we were not allowed into the debates. In my estimation, there are tons of people that run for president, but there are not tons of people who go through the work and the effort that it takes to get on the ballots to have enough to be actually elected. But for those who do, they should be seen by the public in the debates. And the fact that we don't have a bunch of progressive Democrats screaming that they only get to see the Democrats and Republicans ever since they took this over away from the League of Women Voters that used to do the debates. So yeah, that's one of the big things. Go ahead, because you know me, I'll go on.
No, but I mean, I'm enjoying all the information. I didn't know that the League of Women Workers, they're the ones who did the debates
Yeah,
before.
that's why. Remember, well, you may not, but Ross Perot was the last independent that was seen on stage with the Democrats and the Republicans. The next year, the League of Women Voters had it with what they had to put up with from the Democrats and the Republicans, and they left. And ever since then, there has never been anybody but the Democrats and the Republican candidates.
Mhm. So, is there a threshold that a party or a candidate has to get in polls before they are considered qualified or invited
Yeah.
to?
So here's the dilemma. I think it might be 15% that you have to have in the polls. But when the media is owned by the Democrats and the Republicans, and they keep you out of the media, even though you are on enough ballots to be elected, people don't even know you're out there. There are so many people that don't even know there's a Green Party. And I can tell you another thing that is part of the many, many white lies of the Democratic Party. There has always been enough people not registered into the Democrat or Republican Party that could have at any time voted in a third party or an independent if they were allowed to see and know who they were by the owned corporate media. So the lie is, no, you don't have to vote for the lesser evil. You can vote your conscience, but you've been lied to for so long and scared so long. And this is the sad part. But I think, as I said, I think the last election really blew a hole in the Democrats, because not only was Jill able to get out and be heard because of the fact that she had a lot of followers through the Gaza issue that put her in the forefront of a lot of media. But just in general, I mean, it is finally the Green Party is being seen and heard, and the Democratic Party, that all they had to do was stop the bombs and money from going to Gaza, and instead they let themselves lose the election. And I totally believe that it wasn't that 5 million more people voted for Trump. It was that 5 million less people voted either at all or for the Democratic Party. They didn't come to the Green Party, unfortunately, but they definitely didn't do it. So it wasn't that all these Democrats went and voted Republican. You know, they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I believe that it was the fact that they just couldn't do it anymore. They had just realized how long they've been lied to.
Okay, so just few facts to our audience. If this is the first time you hear of the Green Party, yes, the United States is not a two-party country. It's a multi-party country, and there are many parties. Now, the reason you don't hear of them is because the two major parties that you know of, have a total control of the media, and they usually try to put obstacles in front of the other parties to make it to the ballot, to be heard. And we're going to talk about this, the challenges of being on the ballot, because you should know that when you go to that ballot box and you see that name of the third party, you should know that this has come about with so much sweat and tears. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, I want to go to the personal Jackie and ask her about what inspired her to join the Green Party. And before the Green Party, when did you become the activist that you are? And talk to me about that journey in your household. Are you different from the rest of your household, or are you part of a community that is all activists?
No, well, personally, I live alone with my cat. But as far as my family goes, both my parents have passed now, but my father was very, very political at one point in his life. Both my parents were Democrats, staunch Democrats. I don't believe if my parents had lived that they would still be staunch Democrats, that I couldn't have affected them. But as far as myself getting involved in this, I was what I like to call a flower child and not a hippie. I went to junior college from 68 to 70, which is right during that period of time when NOM was going on. Our college, we had some amazing teachers that had just come on in the past couple of years who were very much supporting, ending the war and all. And they were being let go by the college, as they did a lot back then. And so we went on strike to get them reinstated. Meanwhile, right around the same time.
What year was that?
This was 1970. I think it was either 70 or, let's see, 20. The end of 69 or the beginning of 70 that happened. Mm-hmm. And we went right from that into, they did a major college strike to bring the troops home. And that, I think, was the beginning of my activism. I went to a junior college called LaSalle Junior College, and it's on Commonwealth Ave. If anybody knows, that's kind of a main drag from that goes into town, but it also has Boston College and Boston University, and a lot of the campuses are on that street. And we marched from LaSalle into the Boston Commons, and we picked up all the colleges along the way. And we got into the Commons, and there were planes making peace signs in the sky. And it was just, there was a time, a very tiny, tiny, short time, that I was blessed to be where I was, of love and compassion and the ending of the war, and not tons of other wars going on at the same time. And as I said, that's when I started, when I first started. Now, I went a period of time from when I graduated in 70 till I got involved again, not until 2000, because I was playing a beach baby all over the place, and was not actively involved in any political things, as I said, until 2000, when I got involved. And once, I you know, when you become involved in these things and you know the truths, you can't just walk away.
So when did you get involved the second time? What inspired you to get involved again since your college years?
It was when Nader ran, and I found out about the Green Party, and it was so worth.
Were you disappointed with the two-party system?
Yes, but I never was really involved in it that much, because I turned 21 in 71. So I'm not quite sure what that, as far as elections went, I can't remember now. I know that I don't think I was around to vote for Jimmy Carter or Kennedy. I don't think I was old enough at that time for either of those people. And then it was just, I didn't vote because the people that were running were not representing what I felt. And then
so you were disengaged from politics?
Yes, I was disengaged from politics. I'm still disengaged from politics. Believe it or not, I hate politics. But I love the world, the earth, the people. And there are so many more people like myself and yourself out there. It's just a matter that the corporations own all the media, and we're not able to reach these people. If we were able to reach these people on the millions, as you can do if you have, and we don't take corporate money. So it's not like we can pour a bunch of corporate money into getting ourselves onto TV either. And almost every single time we go up for a ballot, the Democrats sue us. So we're tied up in courts and court fees and everything else. And one of the other big things that happened this time was, there is a clean election thing. There's a thing where if you raise, I think it's 20,000, it's just 15,000, I can't remember what the amount is, from 20 different states, then you get this big amount of money. And what they did was, Jill got that, but they held it off until after the primaries. And you're not allowed to use the money after that time. And so like all these bills were coming in that we were counting on that money from. So they really, this was done deliberately. It was another one of the many things that they do. It's just, I do want to share one thing. Jill ran in 2010 and she ran in 2016. And when she ran in 2016, her running mate was Sherry Honkala. who was an indigenous person who is amazing. She right now is the head of the Poor People's Army, which is down in Philadelphia. And if you haven't, anybody that's listening to me now, please check it out, because it is made up of poor people and they are doing a fantastic job. But anyhow, they went to the debates that year. They weren't invited, they just went to watch. And they were taken away to an undisclosed place. And those rip-tied to chairs for 8 hours till the debates were over with. And then they were let off in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. This is our democracy. This is what is happening, and nobody knows about it. People do not. But anyhow, I'll back you. You go. What you mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna dig deeper into that in a second. So Jackie, you said that 1970 till about 2000, you got involved again when Ralph Nader was running.
Yes.
And what's the reason? What inspired you when Ralph Nader was running to be involved, and you joined the Green Party at that time?
It wasn't so much Nader, because Nader didn't really promote the party per se. Nader had been running year after year after year to get out his good voice, and he was a good servant of the people, and his voice needed to be heard. And the good thing for the Green Party was that it actually brought us attention, because it was an actual person that was able to get to the media, because he had his own wealth, he had his own money. And so we brought in a lot of money during that time, and had a lot of very good, from 2021, 2000, 2001, 2002, we had some money. We were able to do locally with our parties many things that we can't afford to do now. So, but the whole thing is that he was bringing the Green Party to the forefront, and he was showing people that yes, they could vote for somebody that wasn't part of the corporate madness. Though there's always fear, and we'll talk about ranked choice voting when you're ready to hit that one.
So tell me, how did you get involved personally? Do you remember the story? How did you get into the Green Party? Did someone contact you? Did you?
No, it was myself. I found out about the Green Party. I found out Nader was running. I looked up the Green Party. I got involved through the local. I called the local chapter, and I got involved. And we stood on the corners with signs for Nader. And I'm telling you, when Nader was running, and this is in Florida, I mean, truck drivers, everybody were blowing their horns for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the thing here is that we have been so divided with two different parties for so long that people think that you're either one way or the other. But when they haven't been given the choice of, let's do something to save our lives and the planet and everything else, they don't know. So the big thing here is to get the word out about the Green Party. This is a very important thing. And as we go further and talk about the youth, that is one of the reasons and one of the things that can really help move this party forward, because the youth are so connected to the social forums, and they can get the word out a lot better.
Okay. I'm going to put the link here. If anyone likes to join the conversation live, they can click the link and come into the studio. For now, I will be reading some of the comments. 869 Handyman says AP, which stands for Associated Press, refused to count independent votes. They didn't count Jill Stein or Ohio. Jackie, tell us about the challenges of being on the ballot. So we go to the ballot, we see the Democratic Party, we see the Republican Party, then we see the Green Party, we see other independent candidates, how difficult it is, or how difficult is it to get into the ballot? Is it a simple task? Yeah.
Every single state has a different thing hoop that you have to jump through. Some states you have to pay a lot of money. Some states you have to get an incredible amount of signatures. Just for a share of what we go up against, here in Maine, we actually had a woman by the name of Lisa Savage who ran for Senate against Susan Collins. And we had to get signatures from just Green Party members. Now, in our state, the Democrats and Republicans have hundreds of thousands. Well, we only have like 40,000, perhaps. And it means, and the time that we have to do it in is during the dead of winter. And where the Democrats can stand on the corner with their clipboards and almost everybody coming by would be able to sign, we basically have to go door to door to door. And one of the other problems that we have in our state is that at one point you had to get a certain percentage of the gubernatorial race. You had to run someone for governor and they had to get a certain percentage. And at one point, when Pat LaMarche ran, she ran several times, she didn't get the amount. So we lost our ballot access. When we came back the next year to take it back, they wouldn't allow for us to use Maine Green Party. And that is why we now have the title of Maine Green Independent Party.
Why didn't they let you?
Because the Democrats and Republicans run everything. They don't want us to take back what we had and already had all the stuff for. We'd have to change all of our logos, there is a reasoning behind everything that they do. And
but the judicial system is kind of independent, right? Can't you take it to the court?
Oh, this is, when you're going to court things without the money, when you're going up against people that have tons of money, and it's a waste of our time, it's a waste of our efforts. But here in Maine, when Lisa ran, we tried to do it, and she had a phenomenal group of people working with her, because Jill, who had just run the year before, gave us pretty much a lot of her team. So we were very well, for the first time ever, moving forward, and we had people all over the place, but we still couldn't get the amount that we needed. By a certain point, what had to happen was Lisa had to unregister Green and register as an independent, because as an independent, even though we had to get more signatures, I think it was maybe 6,000 as opposed to 3,000, we could get it from anybody, any independent, they could sign for us too, which made it a lot easier. And it also, at the same time, there was a June election. And so we were able to go to all of the polls with our petitions to be signed. And this will show you how much people are looking for something else. We didn't get 6,000. We got 9,000 in one night. 9,000 in one day.
How many volunteers almost?
Oh, I don't know what the number was for volunteers, but we were at quite a few of the polls. But the fact that we got 9,000 signatures from people who were there voting Democrat and Republican for the most part.
Yeah, and these are the people voting, not the people who stayed home.
Right. And then you have all those people that stayed home. That is why it's so just phenomenal that they can completely feed you year after year after year, that you have to only vote for the Democrats or the Republicans, or you won't win. If people could have won a long time ago. So, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, Jackie, can you share a moment from your activism that profoundly shaped your political perspective or strengthened your resolve? Like epiphanies from your activism that has, transferred you to a new level of resolve.
Well, it's kind of hard to pinpoint a point. I mean, Ralph fired me up. And once I was fired up, that's all it took, because I am a huge humanitarian. And I am like, I've been retired now for quite a while. And what I do every single day is I am on the computer connecting I have my hand in every cookie jar of every organization. And all I do is connect them. And even if only one person does what I connect them to, that's one person doing something. I am a firm believer that we, the people, will get through this. It's scary as heck. But the other part of it is, and here's another part of what keeps me going. I got involved with an organization called REACH, which worked with the Wabanaki here for those children that had been taken. And when you work, and I suggest to everybody everywhere, get involved in your area with the indigenous people. They're the ones connected to the earth. The earth knowledge is what is going to save us. There's nothing else that is as powerful as that and covers every living thing. It's not about politics. So that's one of my strengths, is coming. These people have been here for centuries. I mean, the Green Party's having a problem. They've been having those problems for centuries, and they're still here, and they're amazing. So, yeah.
Do you feel that also their movement is being silenced and isolated, so we can't hear their voices?
Well, it depends on where you are. Now, here in Maine, they have started something called the Wabanaki Alliance. And it has over 250, I think it is now, organizations that have joined in it. And it's spreading the word and the knowledge about, because here in Maine, we are the Maine tribes, the Wabanakis, are the only of the 500 and so many other tribes across the United States that don't have federal funding because of a law that was passed in the 80s here in Maine. And for the past several years, our legislators, both houses, House and Senate, have passed a ruling that this should be taken care of. And both times, our governor, Janet Mills, has vetoed it. So there's a lot of push to make it happen, a lot of people working on it. May not be in other places, but here it is. Now there's another group that I want to mention, and that is the group called Uhuru, which is UHURU, and everybody needs to look that up and get involved. Uhuru came out of the Black Panthers. They're a Black liberation group, but they're an amazing group, and they have white allies. There's a group that's called USM, which is Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and they do the work for pushing the Black liberation forward. But that group also, the Uhuru, also does the liberation for Gaza, for the indigenous. When Leonard Pelletier got out of jail, which was down in Florida, the first place he went was to the Uhuru House. So there is movement. That movement, to me, next to the Green Party, is one of the most important ones to get, because they're so organized. They're across the United States, and they are just doing amazing work. So.
Okay, awesome. I just shared both the Uhuru and the Wabanaki Alliance links with our audience. Jack, I want to get a message from you. We have a lot of elders in our community. they're at the age of retirement. They're retired for, from work, or they're a stay-home mom or a grandma. We have a number of them in our community. Um, they might lack some linguistic skills. They might lack some computer skills, but they have the time, they have the wisdom, they have the experience, they have the will, they have political awareness, they have the dedication, they have the connections, they have a lot of amazing skills. What can you are a 75 years old activist whose hand is in every jar in Maine. Can you talk to them directly? I will translate your message. I
Okay.
want you to talk to them directly.
Okay. I want to say this. I'm 75 years old. I am the baby of the peace movement here in Maine. I have 80-year-old and 90-year-old friends who are out there. They go to the rallies, they show up with their signs. Those that can march, march. It is very, very important that, and I think one of the most important things is that if I bless every day that I'm an activist, because I can't imagine going through what we're going through in the United States right now. And when I say that, I'm saying that as a white woman who hasn't lived through what what people within your community and the indigenous community and the black community have lived with forever. So this is new for us now, but it's affecting everybody. We need to remember that so many people of my age are kind of housed into places where they don't get to hear what might be happening in the streets. Um, but it also means that they're sitting in fear in their homes. And it is so sad. So I kind of believe maybe that it might be good for some of the youth within the communities to try to connect with the elders that they know in their area and make them aware that they can come to this certain thing where they can within their own neighborhood you know do something that maybe there's some young person that wants to go to a march and needs the baby to be watched or something. There's always something, if they feel that they want to do, that they can do.
That's awesome. So as far as uh, if they don't have the computer skills, what can they do? If there is a language barrier, what can they do? And will they make a difference? Will their activism make a difference?
you know there's no such thing as a language barrier. All right, that's an American made thing, because everybody has to speak English or nobody can understand them. So you have a language barrier. Okay, within your community, work within your community. The youth help the elders, show them where they can do what they can do. Maybe they need to come and work at an office with some organization, you know, that speaks their language. They don't even have to learn another language. They don't have to be on the computer. The young people can help them with these things. This is a whole, we are right now in crisis. This is not about parties at all. This is about our lives. And we all need to work together. And especially within community. Community is about the only thing that we have any kind of control with at this particular point. And the seniors, for a lot of them, and I don't know how it is in your community, but for a lot of them here, are locked away in subsidized housing like me, or nursing homes. And if they're like me, I'm 75, but there's a 22-year-old inside of me that is like screaming because my body won't do what I used to be able to do. So, I think that there's a lot of people that could work that would feel better about what's going on.
Thank you. How do you envision the Green Party growing in our communities, in working class communities, and rural communities that feel abandoned by the two-party system? And also, do you feel that we're always associated with the disappointed Democrats in the Democratic Party, but through your experience, do you feel that the Green Party is not does not necessarily lean towards only the disappointed people on the left, but also it can be attractive to the working class people and the people struggling with various things who are serious about the climate crisis that are also on the right?
Yeah, that's what I said. This is the whole thing. The people have not been able to hear the Green Party message. This is the biggest problem that we have. One of the biggest things that anybody can do, and if there's any philanthropists out there that aren't using corporate money, that need to be able to put money to save their grandchildren, to save the earth, to save the animals, this is the place to put your money. We need to have a way of getting our word out. Because once people hear, when people hear Jill Stein, they go gaga. I mean, they're like, what? And she's been here she's been here since 2010 doing this, okay? And you have not been allowed. You should be furious with the Democratic Party for what it's done. But I just say that we have Republicans that work better with us than the Democrats do. And I think that as far as the working class goes, if they get our message and it's not being delivered with, if you vote for the Greens, you're going to get the Dems from the right side, there are a lot of people, I think, that would come forward and vote in the third party. But I also wanted to say, in Jill's last run, she had an amazing gal that was manager and then became deputy manager named Kelly Merrill. And Kelly worked like crazy to connect the Muslim community, the Black liberation community, the workers' strike back community. And what I see the future of the Green Party is that all of these different groups that are working around their individual problems, issues, we support them. And when it comes time to run, we run people from those groups on the Green Party ticket because we have the political clout. We came in third behind the Democrats, above all other third parties, including the libertarians who take corporate money. We have the political clout. We work together hand in hand all across the nation with all of the organizations. When Jill was running, every time she runs, she was the only one that went to Standing Rock. She was out in Alaska, out in kayaks. She was down in Texas, helping to feed the people that were hand in hand at the oil things. This is what we do. This is who we are. We are the party. We are the front line. And I can't stress enough. We're starting now. It's almost time. We're going to be going here in Maine to as many of the colleges, because they do, a lot of them do it when they first come into the school, back into the school, they'll do events that will invite the community to come and table. And we will be tabling, and we will be offering all of these university students a chance to register into the Green Party and work to save their lives, because this is what it is. This is not about saving the Green Party, saving the Democratic Party, or saving the Republican Party.
We have two existential threats right now that we're living through. One is the normalization of genocide and man-made famine, even one that is broadcast on daily basis to be seen by every person on earth, which is the Gaza genocide. And add to that the nuclear proliferation, and after the bombing of Iran, it is it is crazy to expect any country not to pursue seeking nuclear weapons, because they have proven that if you don't have a nuclear weapon, then you are a target for powerful countries who want to have the exclusivity of that. And then you also have the existential climate crisis threat that is every day showing us its signs, and we keep on ignoring them. So with all these threats, it's really about survival at this point. It's not really about politics. I am like you, Jackie. I don't like politics, haven't been involved in politics before until really even the Green Party itself, it kind of was forced into politics from being a climate movement.
Right.
And that's the truth. And I tell the people in my groups that we used to work with a lot of culture and education, what good, we have been spreading and establishing education for 20, 30 years, and then genocide is taking place, and all these Enlightenment values, all these morals are just thrown in the garbage. So you need to have a powerful branch of education, a powerful hand for culture and for morality, which is activism and the political will. Without that, any of these works is nonsense, is fruitless. Even spiritual work, even any kind of work, it's my personal opinion at this point that anything that doesn't have its political branch, its hand that can actually influence self-determination, influence decision making, then it's a service to the oppressors, because our silence is what enables the oppression to keep on going. Now we have two parties that are AIPAC, War, and Wall Street. This statement is from Jill Stein. Parties that are ruling us with no opposition. We have many comments from 869 Handyman. Thank you for all your comments. This is the last of which. AIPAC paid politicians acts like they work for the King of England, colonizing land and wealth. Jackie, we for the future and advice to the young people, what gives you hope for the future of grassroots politics in America, despite rising political polarization and all the political and environmental crisis that we live in? What keeps your hope up, and what gives this movement a hopeful future?
Okay. Before I answer that question, I just want to say that last night they did an amazing film on PBS about Hiroshima and Nicaragua. Tomorrow we celebrate Hiroshima. The 9th we celebrate Nicaragua. Not celebrate, but honor. Okay? The fact that we did what we did, and 2 days after both of those things happened, the United States silenced the media. Okay? And that is how long ago that happened. But I say everybody that is watching this needs tomorrow to go online and Google Hiroshima and Nagasaki and see what the United States did, what they did. So all of this is just horrible. But what gives me hope? And what, yes, the atomic echo, well, no, it's called the atomic bodies, the atomic something or other. I can't remember now. Anyhow, I'll get that to you and you can get that out. As far as what gives me hope, all right, what gives me hope is that the youth that are coming up, they're not being fooled. The generations that are now coming out of high school, junior high school, are not being fooled. And they know what the story is with the two-party system. So they need to really, really work together. Join as many organizations that are working on the earth, on the climate. The biggest climate effector is war. The Green New Deal, which came from the Green Party, spoke. You need to take the money out of the wars and bring it home to feed the people, to house the people, to give the single payer health care. The Democrats took that over and used it as they do many of our things. Only they never, ever once said the word end the wars because they can't. And because of that, all these young Democratic youth were out spewing this thing that wasn't even going to end the climate thing because they didn't talk about the wars. This is how much the Democratic Party does not care about the lives, as the indigenous people would say, the next 7 generations. Everything they did is for the next 7 generations. When they killed an animal, when they took a plant, everything they did. This is where we have to get back to. Work with the indigenous people. Work with the liberation people. Work with as many groups as you can. There is hope. There are so many more of us than there are of these people that are doing this. And while we don't right now have control over what is happening, and it is, I'm 75 and I keep saying, if I die tomorrow, please do not mourn me. After spending 50 years of fighting for all these freedoms that we had, to see this happening and to see the people whose lives are being destroyed on a daily basis, never mind Gaza too, it's just incredible. But there is hope, and you have to hope. And one of the other things is joy is a product of resistance. You must find time for self-care. I quickly tell you this. Do I have enough time? I know we're coming to
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There is a place that is at the bottom of South Korea, a little island. It's called the Peace Island, called Jeju. That's Jeju. The United States, because both the Russia and the China things filter down to that end, decided it would be a great place to build a nuclear warship terminal. These people were farmers and fishermen. They had this beautiful rock that they did their diving for pearls and they did their ceremonies on. And we came in there and we covered it in concrete. There is a crab that only grows there. There is, it's on the thing of the most pristine area. We have totally done that. But this has been going on for years. And every single day, the people of Jeju come out and they lay down in front of this thing and they try to stop it. But every single night, they get together and they break bread and have dinner and dance. To me, this is the David of the Goliath of what's going on that the United States is doing. But the people have the power, and they are resilient.
Awesome. Jackie, the last question I'll ask you to be shared with the youth is, what advice would you give a young person today who is disillusioned with the system but still wants to make a difference?
Well, if they're in a college, I would say, well, two things. One, as I said earlier, you need to reach out to whatever organization of interest, whether it's climate, whether it's the indigenous people, whatever it is, and get involved and work with them. Everyone needs help. And doing the work, the positive work for whatever your cause is, will give you meaning and help you feel better about what's going on. But also getting involved in the Green Party and helping to spread the truth of this party and being the megaphone. We are not a perfect party. We have a lot of building that we're doing, but we just got two amazing new steering committee members. One of them is Wissam, and the other actually is a person that's not even 21 yet, down in Texas, Shira, and he is phenomenal. You can run in local races and get yourself into your local. I tell everybody, we need to have a green on every water district in the United States to watch over the water. As we all know, water is life. Run for anything. There's so many different offices that people don't even go up for, that you can get involved in. And once you get involved in locally, you will have a say. And you will be able to make a difference within your community. And the community right now is so important. But I also believe, and from what Wissam was saying about his community, young people work with the elders. Our bodies may be getting frail, but we have life knowledge that only comes from living this long. And the indigenous people knew that. They teach, the children would learn at the feet of their elders the earth knowledge, something that we have never been taught because we decided to come kill indigenous people or put them off on reservations rather than to learn from the people that lived with and nurtured the earth.
Thank you, Jackie, very much. Joy is a product of resistance. Everyone needs to connect to an indigenous local organization, work with the elders, get involved in the Green Party, run for office. So many positions run uncontested. That's some of the advice of Jackie Devenue. She is a Green Party activist and been doing that for over 25 years. Thank you very much again. I will put a link for those of you who would like to get involved in the Green Party and also the Arab American and Muslim American Green Party caucus. You'll find all the links in that. This has been a live discussion on Dearborn blog. It will be available on recording. Please do share it with whoever you feel will benefit from it. And more live discussions are coming up. Thank you again and have a great night.
Thank you, Wissam.